can't even get in my damn chair.
Apparently. I like this pillow. It's doing a lot for us.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised how much it does for us.
All right, we're live in 1 minute.
1 minute.
Are you recording right now? Are you recording? Are you recording?
Everything's recording.
Oof.
Welcome back, Beerlievers, to the Don't Stop Beerlieving Podcast. I'm Chris. That's Michael. We are glad you guys are here with us. Episode 2 in the podcast. We hope you enjoyed our episode 1 last week, our pilot episode, where we gave you kind of a breakdown of what we wanted to do with the podcast, the vision for the podcast. And we are glad you are along for the ride. So, I mean, it's been a while since we actually sat down and recorded, but, what have you been up to?
Well, actually, I've been trying to find some new breweries in my area, trying to go into Baltimore City. I've been always afraid of just going into the city. I've been perusing the breweries on the outskirts, but an event that I've been at was the Baltimore Craft Beer Festival, which is the one sponsored by the Brewers Association.
Is that the one we went to last year together, or was that a fall fest that just happened?
That was a fall fest. Okay, yeah, that was the Hops and Harvest Fest.
That was awesome.
It was. So imagine that, but just beer.
Just beer, entirely beer.
There were 66 Maryland breweries there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really funny. They actually had it by region. So the Midwest or the North or the South, but like, it's all in Maryland, so it's pretty funny. But
Maryland's not like that big. It's not.
Yeah, I know. But the fact that they had 66 come to this event was pretty phenomenal. And great stuff. I was able to visit tents for breweries that I've been wanting to go to, just haven't been able to. One of which, Oliver Brewing Company, fantastic stuff going on over there. Brookville Beer Farm, also very good stuff. But yeah, no, I've been doing that, and I've been getting outside trying to get my golf game up. So,
hey, I can help you with that. I can't help you with a lot of the beer stuff, but I can help you with your golf game.
Hey, well, there you go.
So if anybody out there needs help with their golf game, I'm the guy to come to.
Not me.
Not him. Yeah. But that's fair. The new Topgolf, right, just opened up in Maryland.
I don't think it's open yet.
Okay.
I really I'm looking forward
soon.
to it. Yeah. They come out pretty quickly, though, so I think it's going to be within the year.
Gotcha.
They're beautiful facilities when they first come out. Oh, my gosh. State-of-the-art stuff. I actually did go to a Topgolf in Alexandria, and they have the little mini games where they simulate a course for you, a 9-hole or 18-hole course. So you feel like you're playing a game, but you're just teeing off from the driving range.
Yeah, it's like a mix between. I'm sure everybody out there's been to Topgolf, maybe not, but it's like a mix between darts, bowling, and golf essentially, and it's a blast. Yeah, I haven't been golfing in a while, but been doing a lot of this, a lot of recording, a lot of audio stuff, obviously working a ton, but it's good to be back here. Episode 2 of recording, and we had a challenge in our first episode. We're going to leave every episode off with one of these challenges, and we hope you guys are following along at home. But Mike, remind everybody what the challenge was last week and what they were supposed to bring to talk about or to listen about and think about for this episode.
Sure. So last week, I really wanted you guys to find a stout that wasn't so scary to you. Again, a lot of people think stout, they think either Guinness or they think something that's just, crazy high alcohol content or very thick, fully bodied. And it's not always that. It's just unfortunately what it's been doing in American breweries. So just to go into the history of stouts for a bit, stouts were basically a porter. It started off as a porter back in the Industrial Revolution. In Europe, workers were coming in thirsty, and they wanted something to drink, and the dark malt was actually super cheap back then, so they were able to crank those out, and they loved it. They liked that dark beer, but they wanted to start cranking up that alcoholic content, so they were asking for a stout or porter. And they actually ended up creating this stout beer. And in 1817 around, Daniel Wheeler came out with the drum roaster, which was able to create these darker, roastier beers at the same cheaper price using comparable to those later malts. So we were able to churn out these beers and create the dry stout, which came out to be the Guinness.
Which is a popular beer. I mean,
everybody super popular
seems
beer.
to like Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, that's kind of a polarizing beer. I feel like people either love Guinness or they don't like Guinness.
Oh, very true. Very true. And you're going to see a lot of that in America because when you pour a Guinness, the idea is you have a specifically laser etched glass so that when you pour that Guinness, you wait to drink that beer. You watch it happen. We were at the Guinness, the Open Gate Brewery over in Hawthorne, Maryland, where they were showing us how to pour that perfectly, and we had to wait. Half of the glass is just falling, cascading bubbles, and it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, they don't even give it to you initially. Like, you know, obviously it's a little bit different when you're at a bar and they're pouring it behind the bar. Like, of course you don't have it, you know, in front of you while they're waiting to pour the remaining beer in. But yeah, it just kind of sits there underneath the tap, like 3/4 of the way full, and you're kind of just like, where's my beer?
Right.
Like you just left it halfway full.
Right, and you're not.
That's exactly what they did. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that Guinness, it's what is around 4.5% alcohol content. It's a thinner beer. You drink it and you just get, you know, coffee roastiness, medium to high hop content. But it's super drinkable and not chewy, and you can have a few of them.
That's really interesting what you said though about kind of the birth of the stout, what it came from. You used porter a lot in that conversation. What exactly is a porter though? Like, and why did that influence what a stout is?
So the porter style came again from the mid 18th century. When the Industrial Revolution happened, and all these workers were coming in for work, and you know these new technologies were able to be formed. Actually, the hydrometer was founded around that time, which helped us actually find efficiency in our mashes, which is why we figured out that using those cheaper grains was actually not efficient in making our beers. But anyways, the porter style is just, you know, dark, more of a brown colored, robust in flavor beer, malt backbone, of course, and it was just easy to crank out. And people want a little bit more oomph behind their beer, so they started asking for something more stout, and that's why we came out with the beer.
So it actually like has to do with what they were asking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
The name of it. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of people were trying to accomplish that idea by blending different ages of porters. It just got a little weird because people couldn't really keep the recipes alive by then, because if you were blending different batches, it's not like you could create that exact same batch, that blend every time. So they just created the porter. It's very nice.
Well, we hope all of you at home found your stout. Just gonna find yourself. No, find your stout. Tell us a little bit about what you picked out here, Mike. So this looks like a Yoo-Hoo can to me. This is probably what it's off of.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm glad you actually noticed that. It's based on the Yoo-Hoo logo, chocolate milk. This is Glen Coco by Black Flag in, I want to say, Columbia, Maryland.
Shot here.
Yeah, there you go. A fantastic brewery. They actually do have it's a rotating tap, but they do have a stout that does scare me. It's called Black Mage, and it sits at around 13% in alcoholic content.
Jeez.
So yeah, I get people getting scared of things, but this is your more American style. It's not like Irish. This is a chocolate milk stout. So milk stouts are first of all, are going to be sweeter. They're going to have that fuller body. But this is sitting at 6%. It's very sessionable.
It is.
I think it's a little less dry or less sweet than a lot of people think a stout would be in America. And this is just, to me, it tastes like drinking chocolate milk. You know, it has a nice body to it.
I guess that makes sense given its name.
Yeah.
So what is the appeal of something like this? Like, obviously people enjoy chocolate milk, but why do people want to drink chocolate milk beer?
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that. So they do like a silkier mouthfeel. We over in Maryhill, we brew no stouts, but we brew a lot of porters, and we come out with some high alcoholic content porters that we also age in bourbon barrels, which create a little bit of a astringency to them. A lot of people like to lower that by adding milk, sugar, or lactose.
Sure.
Which just as a side effect also creates a fuller body because it's an unfermentable product, so it doesn't thin out. So people, either you like it or you don't. Again, preference is completely fine in beer and anything. I remember talking to one of my friends saying, you know, she actually pours wine, and a customer came up to her and said, "I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I like, and can you teach me?" And the first thing she said was, "Well, as long as you know what you like to drink, that's all you need to know about wine." And that's the same thing about beer, and you're gonna have all these, you're gonna have all these different things, adjuncts, different things to flavor your beer that a lot of people are gonna not like, and we'll get a little bit more into about it. I guess I think I have a few ideas to talk about because a lot of people are scared about adjuncts.
Yeah.
Especially in this season we're in, we talk a lot about pumpkin beers or Christmas flavoring beers, or even if we get into the summer months, just any type of fruit beer. A lot of people are just afraid of those things. Or people that say, "Oh, I want to drink a man's beer. I don't want to have anything fruity in it." We'll talk about that down the line.
Back off, man.
Yeah, back off, man.
Some great fruit beers out there.
There are. I got on the bandwagon.
I mean, it's all beer at the end of the day, right? It's just a matter of what it tastes like, what it looks like, how it's brewed. But I think anybody will take it as long as there's alcohol in there.
True. Yeah.
Well, what are some maybe some other stouts that people might have picked out? I mean, can you name a couple that maybe are available in a typical store that they might have gone and grabbed?
Yeah. Well, so again, we're recording this in the colder season, so I'm assuming when you guys went out to the store, you guys went to your breweries, you guys had some can drops that were those gingerbread style stouts. GBS is actually a huge thing in the beer industry. A lot of breweries are cranking those out. I know Hardywood is famous.
In Richmond.
In Richmond, yeah. It's famous for actually their gingerbread stout. And so I'm sure maybe a couple of you guys might have gotten that one. I got my hands on another one from Black Flag, which I think I'm going to save for another episode because I'm really excited about it. I'm going to let it kind of chill out because it's
like twice the size of this can.
Well, that's just a crowler, but it's this beer aged in a bourbon barrel. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I again, and we're going to talk about bourbon barrel aging. We're going to talk about just barrel aging in general. But it does add a little bit of a kick to it. The barrel is very evident in the beer. But yeah, I think also a lot of people probably came home with a Guinness. They probably had a Guinness 10 years ago, never had it again. And I asked this challenge out, and they're like, well, this is accessible.
You think there's people out there that had a Guinness 10 years ago and just didn't drink it again because they didn't like it?
I can't say, besides that time that we were at the factory or Open Gate Brewery, I can't remember drinking like a Guinness before that.
Really? That is shocking to me.
It's just not my style. I don't really like that dry roastiness. I want in my stouts, I want not necessarily that chewy 13% oatmeal stout, but something a little silky like this that I can just keep kicking back. Yeah, that's nice. But Guinness has been churning out. I think they call it Over the Moon. Over the Moon. It's this blue can, and I have to get my hands on it. I wasn't able to get over there, but I'm sure it's in my local bottle shop too. I think it's a milk stout. I think they collabed with the local brewery or so.
It's nice they're doing that. It's nice that a big brewer like that just comes in and doesn't say, "Yeah, we're just gonna sit here and crush everybody." We're gonna collaborate at least to a degree. I mean, I obviously I'm not speaking off of fact here, just perception, but it seems like they're trying their best to fit in with the community.
That's actually a good point you brought up. Is that we were all afraid of Guinness coming in because they were gonna have so many laws on their side. Actually, when they were opening up, I signed the bill to fight them to come in because
how do you look now, asshole?
Well, the thing is they were limiting the amount of barrels per month or per year that we could churn out, but that didn't affect them at all. So they gave us a ceiling that was easily surpassed for them, and they weren't even a part of it. So they were able to crank out more beer than we were. Yeah. I think it was either that or they made a ceiling that we could never hit, so we would just never hit those margins that were there in the market. Yeah. But Guinness was able to. So, but the thing is, Guinness has been collabing with smaller breweries. They've been hosting events for smaller breweries and also hosting events for local politicians that are trying to break down the current laws in place in Maryland, because it is a strictly the alcohol tax is just crazy over there.
I mean, it's crazy to me how many breweries there are in Maryland, given the state of kind of the political climate and the political landscape for beer, specifically beer. I mean, in Virginia, I don't think there's that many restrictions compared to
I think
Maryland,
they
right?
promote, like they'll give you money to go over there and like
and just like make a brewery.
yeah. Well, because there's so much space on the other side of DC.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much space on the east side. It's all open because it used to be, or it still is, wine country. And now with the fad of breweries and even cideries, they're starting to open up over there. Fantastic stuff over there. I was actually just over there 2 weeks ago for my sister's brother-in-law's wedding, and of course I got there early so I could go to a brewery.
Of course, naturally, as one does.
Actually, I met my father for Black Hoof, and I didn't do any research on it.
Okay.
I just saw that it was close. It was in Leesburg.
Heck yeah, Leesburg?
Actually, was it Leesburg or was it near Purcellville?
Leesburg and Percival are
Yeah.
decently close to each other.
Out in the sticks.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But but it was really interesting to go there because the entire place is decked with like German or Belgian like flags or artwork or pictures of the area, and their styles are definitely that too. Like they had a Marzen there that my dad had that was pretty fantastic. I had a black lager. Pretty good stuff over there. Really
Nice.
was a
Have to
fan.
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about the tasting notes of what you chose, right? Maybe speak a little bit to it a bit more. Maybe talk about the brewery itself as well. Like,
Okay,
where did you find it?
So Black Flag, a nice little cute spot. They actually just upgraded their stainless steel, so they actually have some nice. I want to say a 15 barrel production system, maybe lower, maybe higher, but good stuff over there. They're churning them out pretty often, pretty new stuff. Either doing variations of their current or doing just great collaborations. We actually, Manor Hill collabed with them to come out with I think it was a New England IPA. Fantastic stuff. Great guys over there. Always down to talk about their recipes. Actually, one of their brewers, I was over there and I was frustrated with my home brew, and I was talking about New England IPAs actually, and he was helping me figure out how to get that great haze to them. But anyways, the spot itself, a small little bar station. They actually have this backdrop on the wall that has Han Solo and Greedo. From the scene where Greedo shot first or whatever. But it's a really cool place. I always go over there, grab like a beer, maybe a flight, and then stand at one of the barrels and just kind of study. I go over my notes. I talk to the brewer right there because it's right at the end of the bar.
That's right, because you're studying up. You got some tests coming this spring, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But great spot over there. I want to say it's really accessible to the Maryland Beer Trail in that you're in like the Columbia area, which is right in that diamond of Annapolis, Baltimore, Frederick, and DC. So really, if you have the chance to go out there. I highly recommend their stouts. They have a dank hop series that's pretty dang good.
Dank hop series.
What's
up?
So every few months or so they'll come out with their next one in that series. It just gets better and better. I think the latest one since I've been there was Stimulo. There was one that was like so hopped for me. It was such fresh hop smell and aroma and flavor, but then it just got a little bitter for me at the end. But great stuff. If you like IPAs, if you like stouts, go there. Right down the road you have Sapwood Cellars, and that's if you want just wild fermentation, or if you really want to go and experiment with beers. Really cool spot. I gotta take you there.
Okay.
So when they first opened, they created a few brews that, as people came in throughout the months, like you could try those beers that are slowly getting more complex, and so you could be there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
like at different stages of its brewing process.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, not brewing process. There was brewed, but it'd be aged.
Okay.
And so that way you can literally get to know what barrel aging means. And
Oh,
stuff.
I see. Okay.
Very cool spot over there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a lost, I don't know, like idea to most people. It's just like, okay, the beer's done, then they just put it in the barrel, like, or like, what does barrel aged even mean? How long are they in the barrels for? Like, those are questions people probably don't know.
Oh yeah, I know we're definitely gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think barrels, they think barrel aging, they think, okay, we're gonna put it in a bourbon barrel, and if you're gonna do that, it's probably gonna be a stout or a porter. So, but no, there's some barrel aged beers.
Stick around for episode 3 where we dive into one of those.
Well, yeah, and oh gosh, yeah, rein me in because I'm about to go into barrels. No, but Great stuff over there. There's another brewery, actually right next to Black Flag, or right down the road, is Hysteria.
Oh yeah, Hysteria. Yeah,
yeah, and they also have a bunch of IPAs and stouts, but I want to say their most famous one is their Mother's Milk Stout. Very fantastic.
Like mother's milk.
Like mother's milk. But I don't know what that was about.
I had a professor in college who used to always say that. Not sure why he would say that, now that I think about it.
What class was that for?
It was like was it math or something? It was like some kind of economics.
Something where that comes up naturally.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, no, guys, check out Black Flag Brewing. Get yourself a Glen Coco. You can follow them on Instagram. Looks like it's Black Flag Brewing Co. So definitely check them out and visit them up in Maryland if you're in the area. Great little brewery up there. Yeah. So let's talk about maybe something that they can do for episode 3 here, right? I mean, the challenge for this week is going to be probably related to a barrel-aged
let's see.
beer, or did you want to shake it up?
Well, we're actually near the holiday season, so I actually want you guys to go find yourself a Christmas beer, a festival beer, because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people are either 100% for pumpkin beers or not at all, and I am not at all. Like, I just don't like it. You drink a pumpkin beer and it's just like, oh yeah, there's the pumpkin, like, great.
Takes over.
Yeah, pumpkin is a very strong flavor to me. So
find a pumpkin beer that you actually like.
No, find a Christmas beer.
Even though this will be after Christmas, obviously,
right?
By the time you guys hear this, but that's okay. I'm sure you have some in your fridge still, because nobody drank them.
Yeah. Well, you get a 6-pack, you have one, you're like, all right, I celebrated Christmas. I got 5 left. I don't know. It doesn't have to be pumpkin, but find something where you're like, oh, that actually does sound interesting. You gotta think of the Christmas flavors. What do we have? Like nutmeg,
holly, berries.
That's where you go when you say Christmas flavors. Clove,
cinnamon,
peppermint maybe. Find something. I don't know. Find something like that. Or if you're really into pumpkin beer, actually no. If you're really into pumpkin beer, don't go get a pumpkin beer. Obviously, so get something that's
get the Christmas beer. And if you like Christmas beer, go get the pumpkin beer, and then you guys can trade tasting notes afterwards.
Exactly. It's all about getting your feet wet in someone else. So.
Literally wet in beer.
Don't put beer on your feet. Put it in your mouth where it belongs.
Well, that's it for today, Beerlievers. Thanks for tuning in, and remember that challenge. We'll talk to you guys next week when we cover Mike's esteemed little bourbon-aged beer surprise he wants to show for you guys. As always, thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram at Don't Stop Beerlieving. I'm Chris. That's Michael. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.